A dealer in Chicago submitted a Rolex Submariner to a leading pre-owned authentication platform in the fall of 2025. The watch had complete documentation: box, warranty card, papers. The serial number matched the reference. The NFC chip on the warranty card directed a smartphone to the official Rolex website. The watch passed every standard visual inspection point. The platform authenticated it and listed it for $14,000. 6 weeks later, a watchmaker performing a routine service opened the case back. The movement inside had a regulator arm. Genuine Rolex movements since 2000 have not used a regulator arm. The watch was a superclone. $14,000, full papers, passed digital authentication, and it was fake. This is not an isolated incident. In the second half of 2025, 1 in 3 watches submitted to the bezel authentication platform failed verification. The number was 1 in 4 the year before and 1 in 4.5 the year before that. The trajectory is consistent and moving in one direction. The authentication failure rate on one of the industry's primary platforms has increased by nearly 50% in 2 years. The Superclone has broken the pre-owned watch market's authentication infrastructure. And the dealers are the last to admit it, because admitting it means admitting that watches they have bought, authenticated, and sold may not be what they represented them to be. The Chicago watch is not a single story. It is a documented case that represents a pattern. This video is about understanding that pattern, specifically how every authentication tool the market relies on has been systematically identified and compromised by factories iterating faster than the protocols protecting against them. The scale of what has happened since 2022. To understand the current situation, you need to understand how it developed, because it did not happen suddenly. The watch authentication community uses a specific phrase for what has happened to the pre-owned market since 2022. The arms race flipped. For decades, authentication technology improved faster than counterfeiting technology. Dealers learned to read Rolex's manufacturing tells, the way finishing transitions from brushed to polished across the case, the specific feel of a genuine crown being wound, the particular sweep of a genuine Rolex movement, and these learned instincts, combined with basic tools, were reliable protection. The counterfeiting industry was always playing catch-up. Then several things happened simultaneously. The gray market for genuine Rolex watches reached a scale that created enormous financial incentive for sophisticated counterfeiting. The pandemic drove secondary market prices to levels that made the margin on a successful superclone laundering operation extraordinary. And the Chinese manufacturing ecosystem had developed precision machining and material science capabilities that brought the production quality of high-end fakes within reach of clone factories that previously could not have produced them. The combination of financial incentive, technical capability, and rapid iteration turned the arms race in a direction the authentication community was not prepared for. The watch authentication community uses a specific phrase for what has happened to the pre-owned market since 2022. The arms race flipped. For decades, authentication technology improved faster than counterfeiting technology. A trained eye, a loop, and a basic understanding of Rolex manufacturing standards were sufficient to catch anything short of the most sophisticated fakes. And the most sophisticated fakes were expensive to produce and rare enough to represent a manageable threat. That calculus changed when Chinese replica factories began iterating on a quarterly cycle rather than an annual one. In 2022, a major version update from the top clone factories, the kind that addressed known authentication tells, took 8 to 12 months to develop and deploy. By 2025, the same factories were shipping corrected versions every 3 to 4 months, specifically targeting and fixing the tells that authentication forums and professional authenticators had publicly identified. The authentication community identifies a flaw. The replica forum documents it. The factory fixes it within a production cycle. The authentication community identifies the next flaw. This loop now runs 4 times per year. Watch CSA, the industry's counter superfake initiative, confirmed in their 2025 audit that 57% of watches flagged for suspected counterfeiting were superclones. Not cheap knockoffs, but builds that pass professional visual inspection during the initial authentication stage. That 57% number is the one that should alarm anyone in the pre-owned market. It means more than half of the fake watches entering the legitimate pre-owned pipeline are sophisticated enough to fool experienced authenticators on first examination. U.S. Customs and Border Protection seized $7.3 billion in counterfeit goods in fiscal year 2025, with luxury watches representing the single largest category by value. The volume has doubled since 2022. None of this is the street corner fake market. This is the infiltration of the legitimate pre-owned market by products engineered specifically to pass the authentication tests that protect it. The economic incentive is straightforward. A top-tier Rolex Submariner Superclone costs the buyer $500 to $800. A genuine Rolex Submariner trades at $12,000 to $15,000 on the secondary market. The margin available to anyone who can successfully launder a superclone through the pre-owned market is 10 to 15 times the input cost. And the pre-owned market, which processes billions of dollars in transactions annually, is now the primary target of the sophisticated clone operation rather than the retail consumer. The retail consumer buying a watch for themselves has an incentive to inspect carefully. The dealer buying at volume, processing dozens of transactions per day, operating authentication workflows designed for efficiency rather than maximum scrutiny, is the more accessible target. And the evidence from 2024 and 2025 is that the target has been reached. Authentication Test 1. Weight and materials. No longer reliable. The first thing a dealer does when handed an unfamiliar watch is feel the weight. Steel watches have a specific density. Rolex specifically uses 904L stainless steel, a proprietary formulation with higher nickel and chromium content than standard 316L steel. The higher nickel content gives Rolex steel a specific white gold luster that standard steel does not replicate, and the weight of 904L steel has a specific density that dealers learn to recognize over thousands of transactions. This was a reliable tell until approximately 2020. The top replica factories now use confirmed 904L steel, not marketing claims, confirmed. Collectors with access to X-ray fluorescence equipment, the same spectral analysis tool that gemologists use to verify metal composition, have tested top-tier superclone cases and measured chromium, nickel, and copper levels that match the specifications of genuine Rolex Oyster steel within measurement tolerance. The specific white gold luster that used to separate a genuine Rolex case from a fake by sight is now present on the best superclones. The weight difference between a genuine Rolex Submariner and a top-tier superclone is currently within 1 to 2 grams, a difference that falls within the normal range of variation caused by the number of bracelet links installed, normal polishing wear, and minor manufacturing tolerances. For platinum models, the counterfeit platinum Daytonas still show an 80-gram weight deficit because platinum is genuinely expensive and rare enough that replica factories use tungsten weighting instead, a different metal that produces a characteristic dull thudding sound when the bracelet is handled. For steel sports models, however, weight is no longer a reliable authentication tool. A dealer who relies primarily on the feel of a watch in their hand to identify a fake is working with an instrument that the counterfeit industry solved 5 years ago. The finishing texture on the case exterior is the remaining area where weight and materials inspection can still add value. Rolex's case finishing involves alternating brushed and polished surfaces that transition at precise geometric edges. The top of the lug is brushed, the sides are polished, and the transition between them is a sharp, clean line produced by handwork on each case. On clone cases, this transition is less precise under magnification. The line between brushed and polished is slightly softer, and the brushing texture itself is slightly coarser than the genuine article. A dealer who knows this and inspects with a loupe will find it. The question is whether the authentication workflow includes this level of exterior case inspection as a standard step. And in most high-volume pre-owned operations, it does not, because until recently it was not necessary. The superclone case finishing problem is documented by authenticators who have done direct comparisons. It has not been fully solved by the factories. It requires magnification to see. It is currently the most reliable exterior physical tell remaining for steel sports models, and it requires both the tool and the knowledge to use it, which most of the market's authentication infrastructure does not routinely deploy. Authentication Test 2. Visual inspection and loupe, broken at the macro level. The visual inspection under magnification was the authentication standard for trained dealers for 20 years. A 10-power jeweler's loupe reveals manufacturing quality that the naked eye cannot access. The sharpness of dial printing, the quality of hand finishing, the regularity of the laser-etched crown in the crystal, the alignment of dial elements. These details are difficult to manufacture consistently at scale, and for 2 decades, the quality gap between a genuine Rolex and even a high-quality fake was visible at 10 power to anyone who had spent time with both. The superclone factories addressed this systematically. The laser-etched crown in the crystal at 6 o'clock used to be the single most reliable visual tell available to an examiner with a loupe. On a genuine Rolex, the crown is composed of tiny dots etched at varying depths making it nearly invisible at normal viewing distance and visible as a refined, complex structure under magnification. On earlier fakes, it was either missing, too large, too easy to see from a normal viewing distance, or etched with solid lines rather than a dot matrix. According to 2026 authentication reports, current flagship factory builds reproduce the laser-etched crown with correct positioning, correct size, and a dot matrix structure that passes inspection under basic magnification. The Cyclops lens over the date window on a Datejust or Submariner date provides 2.5 times magnification of the date figure. Early fakes consistently got the magnification wrong, too little or too much, or with optical distortion around the edges that no genuine Cyclops produces. The current Superclone generation replicates the correct 2.5 magnification and the characteristic optical quality. The warm, creamy white of a genuine Panda Daytona dial, as opposed to the cold gray white of earlier fakes, has been matched closely enough in current production that the distinction requires a direct side-by-side comparison with a confirmed genuine dial rather than isolated inspection. The tachymeter scale on a Daytona ceramic bezel deserves specific mention because it was, until recently, one of the most reliable visual tells available. The numerals on the genuine Cerachrom tachymeter scale are produced using physical vapor deposition, a process where platinum is vaporized in a vacuum and deposited onto the ceramic surface, creating numerals with a specific dusty, silvery sparkle that no paint or ink replicates. Earlier fake Daytonas used paint or printing that was visually wrong in direct comparison and faded within months of wear. The current top-tier factories use a vapor deposition process that the collector community describes as genuinely close to the genuine article. Not identical, but close enough that the distinction requires either a direct comparison with a confirmed genuine bezel or specialist knowledge of what the genuine deposition pattern looks like under magnification. The speed at which this specific tell was addressed by the factories, going from obviously wrong in 2020 to convincingly close in 2023 and 2024, is the clearest single illustration of the iteration speed that makes the current authentication environment different from any previous period in the history of the fake watch market. What visual inspection under a loupe does still reveal, and where it remains useful, is in the movement finishing, if the caseback can be opened. The quality of anglage, the chamfering and polishing of movement bridges and plates on a genuine Rolex caliber is executed to a standard that the clone movements do not match under magnification. The problem is that most buyers, most dealers, and most authentication workflows do not open the caseback as a first step. They examine the exterior, and the exterior of a 2025 or 2026 top-tier Superclone passes exterior inspection in a way that would have been impossible 3 years ago.